You never really know who your neighbors are until they show you. And sometimes they don't just show you, they scream it at you while dialing 911 over nothing. When I returned home a day early from a quiet trip at the lake, I walked right into a storm I didn't expect. My HOA, self-appointed King Karen, decided I didn't belong in my own house. Within minutes, blue lights flashed, voices were raised. The truth came out in the most satisfying way possible. The weekend was supposed to be calm. My wife and I had packed up for 3 nights at the lake, leaving our teenage son with my sister. We planned fishing, a campfire, and just enough silence to remember what peace felt like. But weather had other plans. Storm clouds rolled in, the wind whipped, and by the second night, the lake was more hostile than relaxing. So we packed up early and decided to surprise our son by coming home a full day sooner. I was tired, sunburned, and ready for my own bed. The drive home was uneventful, but when I pulled into my driveway, something immediately felt off. There, standing with arms crossed and her nose practically in the air, was Karen, HOA board president. She wasn't alone either. 2 other board members flanked her, like bodyguards for a queen nobody wanted. Finally, she shouted, marching toward my car before I even cut the engine. "What do you think you're doing here?" I blinked, confused. "What do you mean? I live here." "Not according to our records," she snapped, holding up a clipboard. "You've been gone. Abandoned property rules apply. You're trespassing." I laughed, thinking she was joking, but her face didn't move an inch. I stepped out of the car, dusting off my jeans. "Karen, I've been gone 2 days. This is my home. My mortgage, my name, my deed." She sneered. "Not anymore. You left. The HOA is considering repossession. You're not allowed back until this is reviewed by the board." It was absurd, even for Karen. She had pulled stunts before letters about the color of my mailbox, complaints about my son's basketball hoop, but accusing me of abandoning my home? That was new territory, my wife whispered. "She's lost it." Before I could respond, Karen whipped out her phone. "That's it. You're trespassing. I'm calling the cops." I couldn't believe it. She actually dialed. Within 10 minutes, the flashing lights of a patrol car cut across the street, peeked through curtains, phones in hand, recording. Karen strutted to the officer like she had summoned divine backup. "Officer, arrest him. He's not supposed to be here. He broke into this house." The officer, young, maybe mid-20s, looked between us. His brow furrowed. "Ma'am, slow down, sir. Can I see some ID?" "Of course," I said calmly, handing over my driver's license. "This is my home. My deed's inside if you'd like to see it." Karen cut in. "Don't listen to him. The HOA has rules he abandoned this property. It's under our jurisdiction now." The officer clearly tried not to laugh. "Ma'am, HOA rules don't override state property law. His ID matches. This address? That's the end of it." But Karen wasn't satisfied. Her face turned red. "You don't understand who you're dealing with. Call your supervisor. I want him arrested." The officer sighed and reached for his radio. "Dispatch, requesting supervisor at Maplewood Estates. Possible homeowner dispute." We all waited, the air tense. Karen paced like a general preparing for battle. I leaned against my car, arms crossed, letting her dig her own grave. Then another. Car pulled up, but not just any car, a black SUV with tinted windows. Out stepped the police chief himself, broad shoulders, stern face. Uniform crisp as iron, and he just happened to be my older brother. The moment he saw me, his face broke into a grin. I'll be damned. "What are you doing causing trouble?" "In my town?" I laughed. "I didn't cause anything, Chief. She called you." Karen froze mid-step, eyes wide. "You know him?" The chief raised an eyebrow. "Know him. He's my brother. This is his house." The silence that followed was delicious. Neighbors gasped. One of Karen's board members muttered, "Oh no," Karen stammered. But HOA rules he abandoned." The chief cut her off with a laugh that wasn't friendly. Let me make this real clear. HOA rules don't trump property law. This is his legal residence. He wasted police resources, filed a false report, and harassed a homeowner. That's 3 strikes already. Karen tried to backpedal. He was trespassing. I was protecting the community. The chief stepped closer, his voice low and firm. No, you were abusing your power. Do you know how many complaints I've gotten about you? You've overstepped again and again, but now I watched it myself. This isn't just petty. Is criminal? Karen's face drained of color. CR criminal? Yes, ma'am. Filing false police reports, harassment, attempted unlawful eviction. You could be facing fines or worse. My wife squeezed my hand. I could almost feel Karen's empire crumbling right there on the curb. The chief turned to me. Want to press charges? I didn't hesitate. Absolutely. The board members shuffled, avoiding my eyes. One of them whispered, "We're done, Karen." Then they walked away, leaving her alone. The chief called in another officer to take Karen's statement. She sputtered excuses, tears brimming, but it didn't matter. She was cuffed and escorted to the patrol car, neighbors recording every second. My brother clapped me on the shoulder. You always manage to find trouble, huh? I grinned. I don't find it. Finds me. That night I sat on my porch with my wife and son, watching the sun set over our quiet street. For the first time in months, it felt like the neighborhood finally belonged to us again, not to Karen's tyranny. The next HOA meeting was short. With Karen gone, the board dissolved. The community voted to disband the HOA entirely. No more ridiculous letters. No more threats. Just neighbors being neighbors. And as for Karen, she faced charges for harassment and filing a false report. Last I heard, she was selling her house and moving away. Sometimes justice doesn't just show up. It shows up in a black SUV, wearing a badge and calling you little brother. Sometimes the people who think they run the world find out the hard way they were never in charge at all.